Welcome back. It's time to dive into another lesson from A Course in Miracles. Today, we're tackling Lesson 22.
It's a powerful one. This lesson really challenges us to shift our perspective.
It certainly does. The central idea of this lesson is, and get ready for this, what I see is a form of vengeance.
Whoa, heavy stuff, right?
Right. At first glance, it seems a bit extreme,
Yeah.
But if we think back to the earlier lessons in the Course, they've laid the groundwork for this idea. We've talked about how our thoughts create our reality, and this lesson takes that concept even further.
Exactly. It suggests that if we're walking around, seeing the world through this lens of anger or resentment, we're going to see attack and vengeance everywhere we look.
Even if it's not really there.
Even if it's not really there.
So we're basically projecting our own, inner turmoil onto the world around us.
Precisely. It's like, have you ever noticed how when you're in a bad mood, everything seems to annoy you?
Oh, totally.
Right. That's because we're projecting that negativity outward. And then here's the kicker.
Yeah.
We actually start to believe that the world is a hostile place because that's what we're seeing reflected back at us.
It becomes this sort of self-fulfilling prophecy, a vicious cycle of attack and defense.
Exactly. And we get trapped in it. So the big question is, how do we break free?
Well, the lesson offers a practical exercise for us to try. 5 times a day, we're supposed to look around and say, I see only the perishable. I see nothing that will last. What I see is not real. What I see is a form of vengeance.
I love this practice. It's so simple yet profound.
It is. And I think that emphasis on perishable is really important.
Oh, absolutely.
It reminds us that everything in this physical world, it's all temporary. Our bodies, our possessions, relationships, even mountains eventually crumble.
Right. Nothing lasts forever.
Yeah. And if we can really grasp that impermanence, it helps us detach from the illusion that anything can truly harm us.
I think it also takes the sting out of those everyday annoyances. Imagine your partner snaps at you over something small.
Oh, yeah, I've been there.
Happens to the best of us. But in that moment, instead of reacting defensively or feeling personally attacked, what if you applied the lesson?
So instead of feeling like, oh, they're attacking me, I see their outburst as their own thing.
Yeah. You see it as just a fleeting expression of their stress or frustration. It's not about you.
That would definitely change how I respond.
It would make you less reactive, more compassionate, and that shift in perception can de-escalate a situation instead of making it worse.
That makes so much sense. And what really struck me about this lesson is the final question it asks.
Yeah, it's a good one.
It asks, is this the world I really want to see? And for me, the answer is a resounding no. But it makes you think, why is that question even there?
I think it's a gentle reminder that we have a choice in how we perceive the world. We can choose to see attack and vengeance, or we can choose to see something else. We all long for a world filled with love, peace, and safety. But if we're constantly seeing attack and vengeance, that's what we're creating for ourselves.
It's a choice we're making, consciously or not. Let's play out another scenario. Say you're at work and a colleague takes credit for your idea.
I can feel the frustration already.
Right. In a previous lesson, we talked about seeing this through the lens of their own insecurity. But in that moment, when it's happening, how do we actually do that?
It's definitely a practice, and it takes time. The key is to pause before reacting, top breath and try to see the situation from their perspective.
Okay, so instead of immediately feeling angry and wanting to call them out, I ask myself, why might they feel the need to do this?
Yeah, maybe they're feeling insecure about their own position. Maybe they're under a lot of pressure. It doesn't excuse their actions, of course.
Right, it doesn't.
But it helps you understand where they're coming from, which can lead to a more constructive response.
Instead of just adding fuel to the fire.
Exactly. You're choosing a different way of seeing the situation, and ultimately, that's what this lesson is all about.
It boils down to this. We have the power to choose how we see the world. We can choose to see attack and vengeance, or we can choose to see something else.
And that choice is something we make over and over again throughout the day. You'll inevitably encounter those situations that trigger those old patterns of perception.
Oh, for sure.
But each time, you have the opportunity to pause, remember the lesson, and ask yourself, is this really an attack, or am I seeing something that isn't there?
That's a really powerful idea to keep in mind as we go about our day.
It is. And I encourage you to really try to apply this in your own life. See what happens when you choose to see the world with a little more compassion, a little more understanding.
I'm going to give that a shot. We'll be back tomorrow with Lesson 23. Until then, Keep practicing.
See you tomorrow.
I woke up to a miracle today.